really heartbreaking to watch the footage of you crying in your bedroom. And of course, you were carrying something so heavy at the time. When you first started filming for season 6, were you anticipating sharing the story about your miscarriage?
I did. No one put any pressure on me. It was my decision. I mean, look, I've always been an open book. I've always shared every single aspect of my life, whether it was romantic relationships, challenges and friendships, my career, my family life, and this was no different for me.
Jason was absolutely wonderful, but I also just needed to get through it on my own.
I've had an insane last month, but I'm okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
For real. I mean, I'm here for you. But give me a hug.
Hug house.
Hug house.
I love you.
I'm really proud of you and strong woman.
And everything that happened so quick. So it felt like I would be doing a disservice to, our viewers or fans of the show if I wasn't authentically myself. And not to mention, although, timing wise, everything that happened with the pregnancy and miscarriage, everything that happened was about a month before filming. And although I felt like I was mentally okay about it because everything happened so quickly, and I wasn't able to emotionally attach, to one direction or another because of the nature of how quick it happened. I think I was mentally okay, but then I was emotionally all over the place because I still had all of these hormones inside of me. So that was just a very weird feeling as well. Is oh yeah, I'm okay, but am I? So, sometimes when that happens, I didn't know I was going to cry when I got home, until I'm in the shower and I'm crying, and it just sort of happened. And I think part of that was crying because I just got in a fight with my best friend and, he means so much to me and I just didn't, I never like to not be on the same page as Carl. So there was a lot of going into that.
I'm glad that you and Carl are okay today.
Yeah.
Why did you hold off on telling Carl about your miscarriage?
I tried. It was so weird how it all went down. I actually remember we went up to our roof. It was a Sunday and we live in the same building. And I was let's go to the roof and get some sun. And I was something's going on with my body. Something's going on with my body. And the very next day I went to the gynecologist and found out. And then the next day after that, I was going through the process of having a miscarriage. And then by Wednesday, I was in the emergency room. So I came home and Carl actually came upstairs and I was I have something to tell him, but he was traveling to Chicago the next day and super busy and stressed out and planning stuff for work. And I just felt bad. I didn't want to burden him. So I didn't tell him because he was in the middle of so much going on. And this was very heavy news, especially, everything that just had happened to me in the last 48 hours. I just didn't want to burden him. And I was waiting for the right time. And, he was traveling a lot. I was all over the place and there's just no time. And then finally, after that first dinner, I was okay, I really have to tell him because clearly he's not understanding how complicated this is. And I'm not going to sit there at a dinner and announce to the entire house, two people who I've just met, the whole complexity of it all. So I realized oh my God, I really have to tell Carl because he's, it's just creating miscommunication and it shouldn't.
He was so supportive and seemed to receive the story so well. What did you make of his reaction?
Carl's so cute and genuine. And I could tell he was very much saddened that he was not able to support me in a tough moment, which was so sweet. I think it says a lot about our friendship that, you could just see on his face. He was oh my God, I'm so sorry, that I wasn't there to help you. So, I mean, that's just how we are. We've always been able to support each other. And I think he was just sad that he wasn't there to support me.
Yeah, well, I know that viewers will definitely appreciate you sharing this story. For fans who have gone through similar struggles, what do you hope they take away from your story? What kind of words of encouragement could you give them?
Yeah, it's really difficult, right? Because the way it happened for me was very, very different. I'm not married. I wasn't even, you know, in an exclusive relationship. And I wasn't planning or trying to get pregnant. So, and then, once the first, even wrapping my head around the first portion of it, I couldn't even do that before the miscarriage was happening. So for me, emotionally, it was like a whirlwind. I remember pulling the positive out of it. And I think that's the only advice I can really give to anyone who goes through it, is just try to think about what the positive is. For me, I pulled out a positive in that, okay, like I'm actually able to get pregnant. I never knew that before. I actually thought I had fertility issues because I've never gotten pregnant before. Like I couldn't believe it. And I mean, the fact that I could, get pregnant was just like a huge positive for me. And I really like kind of leaned into that. And I think that's the only advice you can really give is to anyone, is just like attempt and try to find the positive or the light in, your situation.
Right. And it was wonderful to hear on the show that you have not given up on your dream of becoming a mom one day.
Yeah, no, my goal is still the same. And I think it could happen. I of course like don't ever want to give up on that. I think technology is a beautiful thing, and the female body is a beautiful thing. So I think there's plenty of options and there's plenty of time